Yo,
Elida Almeida daqui é
this is
Capeverdean
crazy. New levels, new levels. The whole crew's on that new level. Yeah. What's going on, CV World? This is your boy Millie back with another episode of Praçazul. Of course, I have good company by my side. We have Miss Salgadinha.
What up, Praçazul?
The one and only
What up?
Lorreta Rocha in the house. Always lovely to see you. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome.
As always. And of course, by your side, we have Miss Sunshine,
Hello, everyone.
Miss
Sunshine,
Keila
everybody.
Gomes. KK, what's going on?
Gucci.
Gucci. Oh my God. It's the Obama or something like that. Don't say Gucci no more. This episode is, of course, sponsored by JC Studio at 7 Westgate Drive in Brockton. Ladies,
Got
summer
your
is
hair
almost here.
beautified.
Go get it done. Go get it
Get your
did.
makeup did.
For sure.
Yes.
Hoje não tem visita na casa. You guys gonna be respectful?
Yeah, always.
The daughters of
mean?
the
A guest co-host.
We have a guest host in the house today. We're not gonna put the spotlight fully on him, even though he's very well deserving.
It's very
of it.
bright.
Very,
The
very well
spotlight.
deserving of it. But he's a humble guy, and he's here to help us deep dive in some of these heavy, heavy topics that we got here today. He is the founder and CEO of the Capeverdean educational language platform Kriolish. He is also a software engineer with a degree in computer systems engineering. Poof. Doing very, very necessary
Crazy.
work in our community. And he's here today to help us out, to educate us, and to tell us his experience in everything that he's doing in the community. We have the one and only Edmar Gonçalves in the house today.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Edmar, how you doing, man?
Hey, man. Just another day in Brockton. What
Just
can I
another.
say?
It's like regular life for him.
I know, right? Nah, things are great in Brockton, man.
Hey,
Things are great
I'm,
in
hap-
Brockton,
I'm,
all
I'm
right?
doing just fine.
I know, right?
Yeah, he said so much great things about Brockton.
Yes.
No, Brockton is coming up.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It is. I see it coming.
It's not the same when I got here in 2004. I was like,
Oh, man. A battlefield.
I know, right? They're doing really good.
Battlefield, oh,
They're doing
man.
really good.
I live in Dorchester, so it's kind of like very similar. Right now, when you talk about Dorchester, some people have that same reaction. Dorchester, it's like you go
I
up
always thought
there,
Dorchester
it's
was
so
alright. Yeah.
it's a different world
Yes.
than it was like.
I
10
mean, I
years ago.
touched down when I first came here in 2005. I actually lived in Ashmont. That
Oh,
place,
my
for
That's
those who
where I-
remember,
that's
in
where I lived.
2005,
Yeah.
it was a war zone.
Bro.
For
Right
sure.
now, you go. My neighborhood was gentrified, but surprisingly by a lot of Black people,
Yeah.
African Americans, Caribbeans, Africans.
Nice.
So
Yeah.
you see everybody walking outside, like walking their dogs, the kids, and I'm like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
That's
and it's like
nice.
Yeah.
peaceful, family
That was
oriented.
I went back a few years later, and I was
few years.
honestly shocked to see
The difference.
white people jogging outside with their puppies. I was like, this
This is
2005.
That was
so-
non-existent,
yeah.
right?
Guys, we are already in May. Exano lite to correr like crazy. This
Almost
is-
mid-year gone.
That's what I'm talking about, yo. The
Yeah.
only thing I'm happy about is that summer's almost here, but other than that,
Thank you, Jesus.
this is running.
Nah, sério, even though it's raining today.
Yeah, I know. That's all right. I'll
Just
take
get
it.
your
I'll take
flowers.
it. It's almost here.
Well, that's
Are
what's
you
happening.
planting?
That's what usually happens in this stage in New England, right? It's like the weather has bipolar disorder.
Yeah, yeah, I
Like,
know,
one
right?
day it's sunshine, the other day it's like a freaking storm.
One day it's 80.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yesterday
before you
was
know it-
cold.
Yesterday was cold,
Yesterday
right?
was
yeah.
cold.
It was
Yeah,
super
yeah.
cold.
You
It's
know,
very,
New
it's,
England.
very, it's very good for wildlife, you know, the plants and the animals that like.
Call the animals. Lina Brock.
So it's what the Toronto animals.
Yeah, call the animals.
Tu és animal.
No,
É
for
bom
sure
que essa
that. For sure that. But that is
Ecosystem.
Human beings always so self-centered.
on a side note, I have never seen more dead animals on the road than in America. Like, it's ridiculous. Like,
sad.
I mean, they don't know.
Oh, yeah.
As far as they're concerned, they're just crossing the street.
Yeah.
I know,
We
but
took over their houses.
that's true.
It makes me so sad every
That's
time I see one of them. I'm like, damn.
Yo, what? No, okay, we're not. Gonna,
Well, other people might just be like, when are y'all gonna learn, man?
yeah, that's messed up. I like this guy. I like this guy. He's might talk to you. Edmar,
Yo.
I love reading about what you're doing. I'm one of those Cape Verdeans, and there's many of us that you know, we want our kids to learn Cape Verdean, but for some reason, I'm always automatically switching over to, you know, to English. No, English. No,
It's not even Kringle, just straight English.
just to English,
man.
man. It's
Yeah.
and I think with what you're starting or what you started, that's gonna make a difference in almost everybody, like in almost everybody's life. But talk a little bit about your platform, man. And,
Yeah, man.
everything
No,
that you
that's
created.
great to hear. That's exactly what we're here for. But yeah, I mean, Kriolish has a very simple mission. It's to make Kriol languages accessible across public services like healthcare and education, because we know that access to translation interpretation has always been historically a huge challenge in these sectors. And in fact, they can pretty much dictate the quality that you get out of these services.
True.
Right? Quality healthcare and quality education. So we're trying to make the language accessible to these institutions. You know, we're living in a digital era. To me, you should just type something into a search box, just like you do in Google or ChatGPT these days, I guess, and get the answers that you're looking for. And then the other part that we're trying to work on is also to integrate these languages in the modern technological landscape today.
Okay.
Right? I just mentioned ChatGPT, but if you don't speak English, I'm sorry, you don't have access to this incredible technology.
Exactly.
So part of the mission is to place these languages in a position where they can get fully integrated in these technologies so that people don't have to go through this linguistic barrier before they can secure quality of life.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. What made you start this? Like for personal reasons, I'm asking
Yeah.
for. Not just, you know, all the reasons that you just gave was amazing. But what made you start this for personal reasons?
Look, man, it started while I was actually reading through a dictionary of Kriol to English that was released by Edmar Gonçalves, like the Mili Mila people.
Okay.
And so this dictionary is mostly based on the variant from Fogo. And I'm flipping through this dictionary and I'm like, oh, it's interesting that you say it this way in Fogo, because this is how we say it in Sal, where I was raised. So that's when it dawned on me that it would be cool to start this platform where people from all of these different islands could come in and share their way of saying things, right?
Yeah.
So basically, I'm sure you're all aware of Urban Dictionary. So that was the first version of Kriolish. It was like the Urban Dictionary of Kriol.
Kriol. Okay.
So,
Nice.
but then over time, we started seeing that there are actually much bigger problems to solve in this space, and specifically as it pertains to translations. So we launched the Translations Dictionary, and very quickly that became the most used feature on the platform. So that's where we started to get insights into a need that hasn't been met yet. And I'm telling you, we've seen queries, you know, searches going to the site of people looking for translations of phrases like, your blood counts are normal. So that tells me that there are people in healthcare searching, using the site.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's also the other side, even from the Capeverdean audience. We've received feedback from English schools in Cape Verde who are now using the Translations Dictionary to teach kids, and they're getting better results.
That's really dope.
So,
That's really dope.
so yeah, I mean, and we just keep building on it, right? The more people use it, the more feedback we get, and it's that feedback that then feeds back into the platform, not to be redundant,
Sure.
to make it better.
Okay.
How do you like kind of get a really good insight of like how many people are using it for this topic and for like other topics that are different? That
Yeah,
you're
we measure these things in the back end, because that's the beautiful thing about getting input from the audience, is you can actually track and measure. So and what we're seeing is that usage of the platform has been going up 100% year over year consistently. Right? There's been features that we got rid of because they weren't being used as much as we thought they would be. And then there are features that we had to bring to the forefront because we saw that people were using them heavily.
and give you feedback of that.
Exactly.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Like, which features did you find that weren't used, and which ones did you then bring to the forefront?
So in the early days, one of the things, this gets more into like the social implications of things. We used to label each each variant as like Badiou or not. And then quickly we ran into trouble with that because people were like, wait, Fogo is not Badiou. Why are you labeling it Badiou? But it's like, us from Barlavento, that's how we see it.
That's what I always say.
That's how
everybody from Sotavento is Badiou.
I was shocked when someone from Fogo came to me and said, "No, we're Sampajudo," and I'm like, "What? What are you talking about? This is not."
When she told me that, I'm like, what?
I was shocked. So it was one of those things that we had to do away with because it wasn't representative of people's ideas. And I don't know. I think it's worked out really well.
You're learning in real time. Man.
So now how is it? It's just like Badiou, or you
No,
just
now we just say
removed it?
Sotavento, Barlavento, end of story.
Okay.
Okay,
right?
that's good.
Because like now we're labeling.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
It's
now
much
we
better.
label the data in terms of like island groups instead of dialects or whatever, because it's a can of worms.
But how challenging is that? I mean, we're going to talk about that in a minute, about Cape Verdean language being an official language. Like, how hard is it to, I guess, on your platform, on your website, you have one word for Sotavent, one word for Barlavent? Is that how it works?
So, each island has its own thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's 9. You're dealing with 9.
Yeah, exactly. And even if you go to
different groups.
Santiago,
Yeah.
you go to Santiago, I mean, you go into the countrysides, and it's like, whoa, what language are we speaking now, right?
Yeah.
So each island has its thing going on. And what we've seen that people try to do is they make it sound as if we have to solve this problem for everybody all at once. You cannot.
Can't do
Yeah,
it.
I cannot
Right?
do
If we, I promise you, if we were aiming to solve this problem for everybody all at once, we wouldn't have launched the platform to this date.
Sure.
So we just have to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Right? Traditionally, for many reasons, we know that it's the variant from Santiago that is most popular because it has a larger population speaking it, and it has a larger body of work in literature. And people usually see that as bias or whatever. But the way that I see it is not, maybe we from Barlavento need to contribute more into the literature,
Okay.
right? From our side
Yeah, sure.
of things. So, but the approach that we took was we're not gonna label anything as Badiou or whatever. We're just gonna say this is the variation of a particular word that will resonate mostly across the Northern Islands, and here's the other variation that will resonate the most across the Southern Islands. And it's been received pretty well. Like, a lot of people have given us feedback on that too, and they said that they really appreciate this somewhat novel approach to teaching the language.
Okay.
Kriolish just launched what you guys call courses with a K. Very specific.
That's right.
Yes.
Can you
Branding
talk to,
points.
Yeah.
You really did that?
Yeah.
Courses with a K?
Yeah, man.
I like it.
Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. So, courses is gonna be pretty much your e-learning platform. It's like, have you guys heard of Udemy.com, Coursera.com? Like those platforms that you go and you buy classes and you take them online. So that's what we're gonna grow courses into.
Okay.
Right. So right now, we're soon gonna start rolling out courses that are specific to each variant, right? Because if you're gonna go on vacation to Cape Verde and you're going to, Sal, it's not gonna make sense for you to learn Fogo, I guess. So we want to give you access to a course that it's catered towards a particular variant that you're interested in.
Okay.
The idea is for this to grow into a full-blown e-learning platform, in that you have a marketplace of students and teachers, and we're gonna go beyond just language.
Okay.
Right? You're gonna see. We've talked about culinary. We've talked about bringing in. My dream is to bring in Mr. Paulinho Vieira and just have him sit somewhere with a guitar teaching people how to play Marna or something.
amazing.
Oh wow. Okay. That's
Right?
awesome.
And I'm already talking to someone who has a direct line of communication to him.
That's great. Hopefully,
And I'm soon gonna start mobilizing a whole crew right here at Antwan Studios, actually, for us to just go find him where he's at and just set up and just record this thing, right?
Okay.
So that's the idea, is to actually give people access into knowledge and wisdom that is readily available within the community. Because usually we sign up to like masterclass.com or any other e-learning platform out there, but we're not learning from our own people. And there are plenty of very intelligent, smart people who have loads of wisdom to
Giving
share
them
with
the-
us.
A lot. Yeah.
Right? So that's the goal.
Okay.
There are more than 180 million people who speak at least one Kriol, and all of these languages suffer from the same issues from a social linguistic standpoint. So the goal, that's the grandiose vision, is to go after each and every one of these Kriol languages after we prove the concept and the value for our own Kriol.
Okay.
So
So now
there-
you're talking about Haitian Creole.
Haitian
All of
Kriol,
that. Okay.
Papiamento,
Okay.
from Santo Tomé and Príncipe, and I can't wait to get to Santo Tomé and Príncipe because I know that a long time ago Cape Verdeans were sent over there for work during the colonial times. So
Yes.
I'm very interested in seeing how we played a role in the social
In their
linguistic.
culture. Yeah. Okay. So right now it's a website.
Yep.
Is there an app as well that you guys
People
are going
ask
to?
this all the time, man.
Huh?
It's coming. It's coming.
coming?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
app
mean,
before?
so just so I can give you, just so you see how strategic we're being here. The thing about releasing apps is you have an app for Android, you have an app for iOS,
Yeah, true.
right? And then you have a web app, which is what we have right now. All of this is work that you have to maintain.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
No, I know. Yeah.
So, but with a web app on a browser, you just need to run a browser on your phone or on your
Have a
computer, and you
Wi-Fi.
have
It's
and
accessible
and
to
we're
everybody.
able to get not only insight and feedback from the usage of the web app, but we also get to grow,
Okay.
right? And we experience organic growth
That's
that way
good.
too. But of course, there's gonna come a time where we are gonna launch an app. But it's going to have to be very specific. There's going to have to be a very specific reason why we're going to add this load of work, because we have a small team,
Yeah.
right? So we're trying to make the most out of the least.
What do
I
you got?
guess.
Yeah, for sure. No, I'm just thinking as far as customer friendly, I guess. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
user friendly for sure.
User friendly for kids. Like,
Absolutely.
I would love to have
Yeah.
this platform of yours on an app where I can just put it on my tablet, give it to my
Totally.
kid, and say, "Hey, you're gonna study."
Gotcha.
You know.
Yeah, for
you're
sure.
gonna Study
And,
that for now.
and we know that once we get to that point, right? We know that the experience, having a native experience on these devices, is very important. So once we get to that point, especially with rolling out these courses, especially for kids, because we're also gonna start working on packages for kids,
Yeah.
with animations and all that fancy stuff.
Yeah, that's nice.
That is gonna be very important. We know that we are gonna have to have mobile native apps for that stuff. So when that time comes, right now, we just have much bigger fish to fry at this point.
Yeah.
But once we are in a better place, we'll start working on that. And actually, it's on the roadmap for next year.
It's like I said, I'm looking at more from my kids,
Yeah.
through my kids' eyes of how I can get them involved with speaking Creole, because it's my wife tells me all the time, you need to speak Creole with these kids,
Yeah.
and then I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna start the morning out and speak Creole with them. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're like, nah.
Right.
And to be very honest, is also for me, like I know I used to speak Creole much better than I do right now. You know what I mean? But just because I don't get to speak it as much, I don't live, with moms and my dad also away. So I think what you guys are doing is amazing, man. And I
Thank
can
you,
see
man.
all
Thank
types
you.
of possibilities. Like sick and tired of watching Cocomelon and seeing them talk in Spanish and all that. It would be dope. Creole popping up in there. What's been like the biggest struggle with this platform that you guys have
Outreach.
faced?
Outreach.
Yeah.
So we've started, as an engineer, to me, this is where my heart was broken, right? In my mind, I'm like, I can just build a product, and that's it. If it's good enough, people will use it. But nope, marketing is actually, as it turns out, is more important than product. Actually, there are products that are technically inferior, but because they have superior marketing. They beat the products that
Yeah.
are technically superior.
Apple and Android. But
So that was like, that's
you
where
got
I
your
was
heart
like, okay,
broken.
I have this craft, that's fine, but I guess this is where, as a founder of this company, I had to start doing things that I don't really want to do,
Yeah.
like marketing.
yeah,
But at the same time, learning a lot. It's been fun.
yeah.
But yeah, that's been the biggest challenge, is getting the word out, getting people, raising the people's awareness about it. And I'm telling you, every time someone runs into it, it's the same reaction. Oh my God, I've been looking for something like this my whole life, blah, blah, blah. And we're like, guys, we really need to ramp up marketing here.
One more question. How big is like the engine, I guess, of this? Like, if you could say it in words, like how many translated words do you guys have? How much do you still have to go?
Yeah, so right now we are getting close to 2,000 translations, and each translation has Barlavento and Sotavento variants, and each and every one of them has pronunciation audio. So you can play and hear
then
the
you can hear it
pronunciation, which is
in both dialects?
yes,
Oh,
yes,
okay.
both Barlavento and Sotavento.
That's awesome, man.
And then of course what's cool is that the public can actually contribute to these dictionaries. Like the expressions dictionary, you just need a registered account and you can add an expression.
Really?
The translations dictionary, people request translations,
Okay.
and then we just process them. I've been getting dozens of translations every week. Like this is my weekend project these days. Just sit there and add these
wow.
translations.
How about sayings? Like batrapulacines and all that stuff and whatever we come up with.
That's an
available,
expression.
yeah.
Yo, Poland expressions. You can do it.
That's dope.
You can
I'll
just
go
log in,
off.
create an account. We have over
I just created an
700.
account.
You did? Nice. Awesome.
I did.
We just surpassed over 700 registered user accounts, like real human beings.
That's
dope.
really nice.
That's really that's really dope.
That's the thing that you were like kind of desiring at the very beginning.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once you see that, okay, people really want this, then that's where I was
It keeps
actually
you going, yeah.
Yeah, it keeps you going, and that's where I realized, okay, we might actually have a viable business here, right? And mind you, we're only talking about the Cape Verdean American audience. What do you think is going to happen when you go into European audiences?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Like Portugal,
Yep.
France,
Very, very.
Luxembourg, all of these. This is what I love about our community is that
We're everywhere.
we're everywhere,
Yeah.
and each of these places are entry points into a global market.
Yeah.
Right, and this is why I tell Cape Verdean entrepreneurs all the time: you need to think beyond Cape Verde, because we are. It's like it's a blessing and a curse. We have a very small population, a very small market in Cape Verde, but it's a blessing because then you get to think global from the jump, which is a unique opportunity.
For sure,
right?
for sure.
And we have to leverage these entry points that I'm talking about in the diaspora to maximize whatever it is that we're working on.
That's awesome, man.
From my knowledge, a lot of Creoles are an official language.
Nope.
They're dialects. Speaking of the Cape Verdean language that is called Kriol, how difficult is it for you? Somebody was trying to do the work of translating that language, knowing that there isn't anything like set, formulated yet when it comes to the structures around the language itself. Do you feel like it's easy because there's nothing necessarily created already where you get to, how do you make it work? Do you get to like create stuff? Do you have points of reference that you go back to?
What to make it as far as helping the language become official?
No, as far as like translating the language.
Oh, yeah, I have a number of books from people like Manuel Veiga, Edmar Gonçalves, Tomé Varela, all of these people who have been working on this for decades, like going all the way back to the 70s, right? And of course we have the alphabet. It's officially recognized by the government. Unfortunately, not many people know about it. But I've been using it. I've received feedback from the language experts that they've been watching my evolutions with using the alphabet, and they're like, you've evolved a lot, you've learned, and I'm telling you, that alphabet was really well designed because you can literally represent every variant with it, with that alphabet. So we just need to get the word out. So there is structure, there is this foundation that has been set. We just need to use it, right, and put it to the test, obviously. There are people speaking this language, whether these governments recognize them or not. Our mission goes on. Our mission is not tied to government making these languages official or not. We just know that people need access to these languages, and
they work.
Yeah,
people understand it.
They understand it. They use it on their day-to-day, and actually, they hold on to it just like we do because it's our identity.
Definitely.
Right? I tell everybody, you could take away Cachupa, Grok, the islands, but if we still have the language, we can still tell a story.
Esse ano Lino está celebra 50 anos de independência.
It's going to be 50 this year.
Como país independente.
Wow.
Awesome. Como povo não tem muito mais nossa cultura. Moda vou mencionar a parte mais importante, nossa cultura e nossa língua.
Yep.
Então, tem tido debates sobre a oficialização da Kriol. E boa como uma pessoa, como a Débora falou, tem sido fazer pesquisa, tem sido em contacto com ele. Vou poder falar um nomezinha do que botou de estado corrente de língua cabo-verdiana.
Tem questão bem prática que tem sido apresentado, ok? Pessoas, mas muito que o mais importante é a aceitação de diversidade nas línguas, ok? Porque tu de vez não te entrar nesse tópico, tu de vez não te entrar nessa discussão, alguém também dizer não, que ele nem é crioulo, que ele é bom crioulo. Mas não é assim, crioulo é um só. Ele é modo uma língua qualquer. Crioulo é uma língua que desenvolve naturalmente modo qualquer outra língua no mundo, ok? Inglês tem seus variantes, tem suas variedades. Vai para sul, vai para Texas, vai botar. Tudo este tem. Mas ninguém.
Portugal bota para norte, está falando de uma maneira, bota para sul, está falando de outra maneira.
In Inglaterra is even worse. Like with
I mean, vai para Irlanda, vai para a Escócia. Nunca está a entender nada, hein, brother?
For sure.
Você põe, já tenho a minha vida inteira de aprender inglês, num país inglês que tem. Mas é isso, então que eu vejo o que é que não está a fazer, eles não têm tendência de olhar nossa situação como situação única, mas ele que é único. Esse é problemas que toda comunidade já enfrenta e nós nunca temos problema de falar inglês. Inglês também já passa por esse processo. Ainda ele está a passar por esse processo. Por isso que me está a gostar de motivar toda gente a fazer parte desse processo, porque ele é um momento histórico. Você tem essa oportunidade como cidadão cabo-verdiano de ter um impacto na direção que não te leva essa história, que também influencia coisas para futuras gerações. Pronto, me dá um português. E agora?
Português? Para futura geração.
This is where I want this platform to come out, because this is the thing that I have with tudo coisa que eu vou dizer assim, eu compreender tudo, né? Mas a mim agora vamos falar mal dele.
Ser rosto desapontado.
I'm always like looking for words. Sempre me talita se eu sempre falo holandês, crioulo, holandês, crioulo, inglês.
Mili, está fazendo um trabalho.
Bom problema, mas crioulo é que para uma boca ser crioulo. Bom problema, mas crioulo é para uma boca falar o suficiente. Língua é prática. Língua, para mim, eu estudei inglês para 6 anos na liceu. Bem para a América, para o colégio, aquele primeiro semestre, conchega. Para tudo aquele conhecimento que tinha estava ali. Então, tive que forçar a cabeça na falar que é para bem para ali.
Mas você, porque tem uma diferença entre aprender língua e adquirir língua. Você é menino a adquirir língua.
Aquela é verdade.
Acho que tem a menor ideia de estrutura, de gramática. Não, está a adquirir.
É por isso que está aprendendo faz.
Está a adquirir. Agora, aprender, vou-te aprender num setting educacional, formal, sei lá. Ele é diferente, mas moda que vou dizer, que tem maneira melhor para aprender uma língua do que vou para aquele lugar. Vou inserir a pessoa naquele ambiente até vou desenrascar até.
É verdade. Então lembra quando vem para a América que vai mais pior, porque quando eu cheguei na América, a mim não sei porquê, mas na Holanda tem gente fogo, mas tem gente fogo like this, right? E tudo, que tem. E tudo gente ali como conche, está a falar língua de fogo. Gente se inclau, não estava mais para Providence, não para Canérica, não tinha gente para lá, minhas famílias, mas ali é mais língua de fogo. A mim que está, oh my God, nunca está a compreender.
Língua inglês é só no trabalho ou se você tem, encontro com amigos que falam inglês, mas só uma casa, crioulo, ele começa assim. Por isso que às vezes não está jogo ou nem inglês, só que está falando com ele.
E agora não te trocas,
mas aquele que é desafio de imigrar também, botar bem boa língua, botar como você aprende aquela língua local, porque senão você poder participar de maneira efetiva na sociedade, botar como você perder pontinha que as coisas boca da conta, mas quando vou reparar nunca sei, me senti estranho, me senti meio desapontado minha pessoa, vou dizer nunca devia ter deixado isso acontecer, mas pronto, ao mesmo tempo você tenta como são vida novo, aí moda que esta diz, vou também para a América, tem que ser moda americana.
Não. We're not being. Não, aquilo agora não.
Pelo menos
Americano,
língua
não.
vou ter que aprender.
Mira, aquela não.
Pelo menos língua.
Yeah, não, inglês agora, aquele disse que me era menina agora, você vê, na Holanda tudo coisa na televisão era em inglês.
Yeah.
A Holanda é um daqueles
Isso ele
países
papar em inglês.
não, é um daqueles países na Europa, tudo coisa que botou na televisão é tudo original naquela língua daquele.
É estranho que eu canto
Na
no frango
França é tudo em francês, na português. Por isso tudo que é outro ilha, tudo que é outro país, existe para ser mal. Esse que eu falo inglês, mas a gente da Holanda. A gente da Holanda está falando próprio inglês, because diz que na escola ele é aquele segunda language and it's mandatory.
Yeah.
Like, inglês botem que mal. So nunca tinha nota de inglês sempre direito, porque nunca me estuda. I didn't need to because I just know.
Então é a televisão demais.
Huh? Oh yeah, for sure. Come
Yeah.
on, Fresh Prince, all of that stuff.
Mas, Amélia, vou mencionar uma coisa que é importante. Grinha-se, Edmar Gonçalves Santa Maria, grinha-se em Cabo Verde que tem uma política de língua. Moda boa menciona na Holanda que está estruturado no ensino, que o menino entra na escola, bota aprender Dutch, bota aprender inglês.
English, yeah.
Na Cabo Verde, nunca tem nem de aprender crioulo na escola.
Yeah? Não
Não tem sempre.
tem tido experiências, mas nada oficial.
Nada oficial.
Mas
né?
é ali que não tenho que dizer algo, não tenho que mencionar algo também importante.
Yeah.
Foi feita uma pesquisa, ok? Eu tenho conheço aquela senhora, se chama Ana Josefa Cardoso. Ela está morando em Portugal, tem na Kriol, acho que ela é linguista, doutorada. Ela fazia uma pesquisa na Cabo Verde, onde é que eles compara grupos de menino. Eles como se menino, primeira classe tudo na Kriol, menino, outro grupo de menino, primeira classe tudo na português. Que é menino que começa a primeira classe tudo na Kriol, sei de ler e escrever Kriol e português, mais melhor do que queres que aprender só no português.
Oh, wow. Ok.
Explica para a moto.
Yeah, razão.
Bom, ainda não quero ler aquela pesquisa inteira, mas tem um peso psicológico. Quando um menino entra na escola para aprender numa língua que ele está falando na casa.
Yeah.
Ele é um choque mesmo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
E isso está afetando a sua aprendizagem.
Yeah,
Ok,
com
yeah.
certeza.
That makes
Botei.
sense. Yeah.
E o Unesco mesmo já tem seu tempo de mandar esse aviso, de dizer e tem um perigo enorme e do cabo menino na língua que a gente está falando na casa.
Yeah.
Porque isso afeta a educação. A mente passa todo dia a pensar nessa coisa. Maneira que não deve estar a prejudicar a gente moda essa história. Vou te entender?
Yeah.
Porque quando vou entrar na escola, ensinar matemática na Kriola. Agora não tem concentração na matemática.
Yeah.
Nunca tem concentração se me te falar português corretamente ou não, se me te escrever. Não, não tem ali para aprender matemática.
Mas eu queria dizer que os professores estão falando só português quando chegam na escola.
Só
na
português.
Cabo Verde,
Uau.
Desde
ensina
menino.
português.
E assim, não estudo, não há para a escola, é assim.
Português.
Desde a
É
escola
português
primária.
é mandatório. Mas
First grade.
Wow, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
fala com a mãe é professora de língua portuguesa na Cabo Verde e também de língua cabo-verdiana. E esse começa a ter aula a partir do 10º ano, aula de língua cabo-verdiana. Então, esse tem aquela aula que esta começa no 10º ano e já tem 3 anos que esse começa a fazer aquele. Antes era chamado, aquela classe era chamado língua e não, aquela classe era chamado de cultura cabo-verdiana. Esta dava aula, tipo, fala sobre cultura cabo-verde, mas gosta de expor só língua cabo-verdiana, que gosta de ir diretamente com gramática e maneira de escrever tudo coisa.
That's crazy.
Mas essa tem incorporar, mas tipo, usa aqueles exemplos de cultura, de comida, de música, assim, batuque. Então mostra que essa tipo como a esta usa e crioulo. Então a partir de aquele momento esse fica toda a aula 10º ano usa aquela classe lá para a aula crioulo e minha mãe forma alunos que gosta.
Yeah.
Essa tá aprende
Yeah.
e também essa dado treinamento sobre e maneira de como ensina alunos a escrever e própria crioulo.
Não, então já é super importante. Então é super importante.
I wonder how other nations do that. Like in Haitian, do they do the same thing? Like
I don't think they do
Like,
that.
no, because
French.
Haitian
speak
Creole is
French.
that an official language?
I don't think
It's
so.
not?
I don't think so.
But how would they teach that, like in school? Like, would it be the same thing as they do in?
I think their official language is still French.
It's still
French,
French.
and that's
It's
how
the
they do it.
same. They have
Wow.
the same situation
Same
as
thing in
us.
Jamaica with
Yeah.
English.
I mean, you have your work cut out for you.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I'm
Olha,
here for it.
imagina, a pessoa
Yeah,
faz
yeah.
50 anos de independência.
Yeah.
E ainda não tem nenhuma língua que é que oficialmente
Yeah.
That's crazy.
no nosso país.
Well, good news é que, por acaso, mal como dizemos, está com um movimento cultural, coisas que muda, show. Até a boa, muito que Kriol já entra na mainstream media na Cabo Verde. Hoje em dia, vou ter billboards, tudo enquanto na Kriol. Antes era no português.
Yeah.
Mesmo políticos na Parlamento que assim tá
Yeah. How
Yeah,
were
às
the
vezes escapa.
politicians' views on this? Well, I guess-
I don't know, man.
Sabe
Like,
o que
it's a maneira como te dizer, maltas poder daquele show, deixa eu dizer assim.
Yeah.
Mas na hora de tomar na massa é uma história diferente.
For real.
Vou te entender? But again, there's gonna be tá que pressão de pessoas, tá que pressão, tá com um movimento tá cada vez mais grande.
Okay.
Também deve mais tempo, mas não estou a dizer que um dia não estou a chegar. Agora pronto, tem que esta questão prática que não tem que that we have to address.
Yeah, sure.
Mas não estou a dizer que missão número 1 é educar pessoas o máximo possível e mostrar pessoas que esse conceito de um crioulo correto e aquele outro crioulo incorreto que existe.
Okay.
Vou entender que ela é outra discussão também, com outro debate como entre uma pessoa online, modo que este vídeo que nós está a pôr agora, que certas coisas, que a maneira como estava a falar que é correto. Dizer, mas missa assim como está a falar deste pequenininho.
Yeah.
Minha gente não é volta, assim não está a falar, modo tem pesquisa, isso, aquele outro. Então já é hora de não questionar a pesquisa, porque essa pesquisa que tem nada a ver com a realidade. Não tem?
That's true.
Yeah, não falou do facto de ter removido letra C nos dicionários também. Qual que foi o motivo para aquela?
Letra C ele é uma letra que tem sido usada para fazer mais do que um som. Você tem aquele K som e aquele soft S som. Então o objetivo é remover a ambiguidade. Porque, por exemplo, se bem no alfabeto português, cinema é escrito que C, mas, sei lá, casa é escrito que C. Botei duas
diferente.
duas palavras, mas dependendo daquela palavra que ele seta fazer um som diferente. Então, isso está criando ambiguidade, ele está criando complicação. Então, o que é que eles fazem? Eles dizem, então se assim, não tem letra K,
Tem som de C.
e não tem letra S. Então, não usa só que... E ele, não é alfabeto, ele é fonético fonológico. Ou seja, uma letra, um som. E esse tipo de alfabeto tem vantagem sobre aquele alfabeto etimológico, modo que aquele que não tem no inglês, no português, etc. Por quê? Porque ele tem representação. Boa língua pode evoluir, ele pode mudar, mas é som. É aquele som que é importante. Vou te entender?
Okay.
Então é por isso que foi remover a letra C, foi remover a letra Q. O que é interessante é que pessoas te perguntam sempre sobre C, mas ninguém te pergunta sobre Q.
Como o nosso nome é Cape Verde C.
Também.
Vou te entender, like, ele
É estranho.
Yeah,
Mas pronto, só porque não tem uma letra naquele alfabeto que quer dizer que agora não tenho muda o nome de tudo gente. Não, bom nome. É aquele que ele está registrado.
Mas é que é mais simples se em vez de não remover, não adiciona aqui para a gente, mas, por exemplo, no alfabeto português, eles adicionam capa, que tinha uma vez. Eles mantêm C, eles adicionam capa. Tá dá mais possibilidade para modo vou dizer, língua é uma coisa que sempre modifica, tem estrangeirismos, like, muito te volta mais globalizado. Não te adota palavras de outras línguas. A hora que vou remover letra, bota-te limita a boa cabeça. Então, a minha ver, te fazer mais sentido em vez de botar, adiciona. Adiciona, vou ensinar, ok, vou expandir aquele...
Mas, bom, o problema é que se vou adicionar, vou ter criar mais confusão.
Não se põe
Até.
se vou criar uma estrutura.
Yeah.
Cima
if you
tem
learn it
naqueles
that way.
línguas, vou criar uma estrutura. Ok, naquele caso ali, boto as letras ali. Naquele caso lá, boto uma estrutura que é coerente. Por exemplo, língua inglesa que é coerente.
Oh, come on.
Tem
Porque tem
data-
nenhuma estrutura em
Yeah,
inglês.
tem
That's
um
what
data-
I'm,
tem um
that's what
data-
I'm saying.
É por isso que ele é oficial nele na América. Mas tem um data de
Inglês,
regras que te
knife.
aplica num caso, que te aplica noutro caso, mas que tem explicação nenhuma. É para mim assim, é para mim assim.
Yeah.
Mas vou querer, again, ele estava para aquela coisa do facto de nossa língua ainda quer ser oficial.
Yeah,
Mas pera,
depois muda.
ele te limita
Ajusta.
em termos do quê? Em termos de modo como dizer, ele é um alfabeto que está funciona à volta de som. Ele é construído especificamente para sons que existem na crioula,
Yeah.
na nenhuma outra língua.
Não estou a dar um exemplo, por exemplo, sou um doutor que queria prescrever vitamina C na crioula.
Vitamina C. Só
Ele está a
porque
escrever C.
não, só porque nunca tem a letra C na nossa alfabeto, que quer dizer que não tem muda terminologia de medicina. Modo como está a dizer, nosso problema, ele não é o único que tem a letra C na alfabeto japonês. Mas, se vou para a farmácia, vou pedir vitamina C, isto está bem.
Não, mãe, mas é porque que é central, you know? Quero que tinha razão.
Puta,
Para trás,
tu
já
tá
estava lá, está chato agora.
Ai, ai.
Não, nosso país.
I mean,
Agora vai
basta eu
cortar,
ter
yeah.
capa, I'm good.
Mas modo como dizer, a voz não tem no registro com letra, ele tem que ficar assim, que ele é bom nome.
It's okay.
Não, a mim então você
Mas-
pode ver que sei eu.
Não gosto de comer com capa.
Com capa. Olha que o alfabeto africano foi poluído para o alfabeto europeu durante o colonialismo, isso, aquele outro. Que foi até quando europeus começaram a tomar conta do lugar, que a letra C foi inserida no nosso alfabeto. Kriolish, vez já escrever de letra C. Não mudar para capa.
Yeah.
Porque não reconhecer isso. E também foi uma maneira de mostrar apoio para o nosso alfabeto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Então, pera, então vou querer dizer o alfabeto na África. Então já que tinha um monte de alfabeto. Letra C que está a existir.
Capa sempre foi uma letra que maneira como te dizer, uma letra prominente no alfabeto africano.
Mas C também está a existir. C também está a existir ou não?
Não, para pesquisas como fazer, letra C foi inserida no alfabeto africano durante escravatura, colonialismo, isso, aquele outro. Mas capa sempre que foi aquela letra. Tudo vezes botei um movimento africano, botei a África escrevido capa. Botei algo que C.
But you don't think this discussion adds more delay to the struggle or to what we're trying to do
Of
with the
course it
language
does.
then instead of just getting
Yes,
to it?
but at the same time, I love it. I love that people are putting their finger on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I love that people are discussing this because not very long ago, the language was just seen as not a real language. You know? I, at some point, a long time ago, before I started doing this work, I used to tell people the Capeverdean Kriolo is like some type of like broken Portuguese. But there's nothing broken about
I think
it.
everybody used to say that.
Yeah, but there's nothing broken
I
about
never
it. It's
said
a
that.
it's a language that
I'm
evolved
gonna correct
naturally.
myself next time I say
never
it.
said
So-
that.
The thing about Kriol languages that I love is that they actually simplify language. Okay? Like in Portuguese, if I'm going to say, you know, I don't know, as minhas bonecas são bonitas. As plural. Bonecas plural. São plural. Bonitas plural. Mas na Kriol não está a dizer minhas bonecas é bonita. Nhas is the only thing marking plurality. Everything else is just
bonecas.
simple.
Yeah,
so
'cause
this is what I love about Kriol languages. They actually simplify language.
Tell people real quick where they can find your where the website, how they can subscribe to it, and because it's cost free.
Yeah, it's free. Kriolish.com,
$3.99.
Kriolish.com. Join the movement, as they say.
You can subscribe. You can add to it.
You can subscribe to email newsletters. You can register an account. When you register an account, now you can contribute to the dictionary, and that's the thing. It's like we actually wanted to open up the conversation and have people have a say.
Okay.
Because usually you just launch a book. That's it. It's a
Okay.
done deal. You can't argue with a book.
Where do people go to suggest like changes, like they say?
So we have a feedback form on the site. You'll see a feedback thing on the page. Just click it and give us your feedback. Submit new ideas. Tell us
Okay.
what you don't like, what you like,
That's dope.
Yeah.
All right, nice.
Não fala sobre Ibrahim Traore. Ele tornou símbolo, deixa a gente ter assim como símbolo de libertação da África
Revolution,
contra neocolonialismo. Então, recentemente, ele tem tido fama,
Tchau, atenção,
chamou
yeah.
atenção na social media da comunidade negra no mundo inteiro.
Man, Burkina Faso. Te lembrar-me de Thomas Sankara. Ok? E o que é que aconteceu quando ele começou a fazer esse façanha na região de Burkina Faso? We'll see how this goes. Tem tido atentados já, né?
Assim que estou a dizer, atentados para assassiná-lo e para removê-lo de...
Yeah, para morte.
Mas é assim, tu vês que qualquer país africano te resolver segurar a soberania
Yeah, it's not the first
económica,
time. Yeah.
de repente é um problema.
Yeah, but
Para todos
não
nós.
saber, saber porquê,
Yeah.
of
É um
course.
problema
Claro.
aqui.
Ei, Europa, América,
Yeah. Mas não saber porquê.
claro.
There's no...
Yeah,
A
para mais
boa
crescer,
África te
para
alimenta a
dominar
economia do mundo inteiro, mas quem é que te beneficia menos
Yeah.
é precisamente a África. Então,
Não,
quando...
eu gosto da maneira que estou a fazer, mate. Te parecer mal que agora está pro, you know, está junto a companheiro, and hopefully that way they can, you know, they can.
Ou até dizer aquela aliança, aquele Sahel
Yeah,
Alliance,
yeah,
Mali,
porque-
Niger e
Well,
Burkina
eu vou
Faso.
dizer, coisa ali, não lands. What was it, President Libya? Gaddafi.
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 Yeah, that's a hot
Lands.
topic.
And what they usually do is they, you know, demonize the character of the president, right? And then show it to the rest of the world and say, oh, this guy has to go because he's doing this, he's killed this many people or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. And then
He's
they go
become
in
a
and they,
dictator.
and then yeah, he's a dictator.
Yep.
They're organizing with each other, and hopefully this way, they got Russia backing, yeah, Russia backing as well. So they know that, you know, America's not just going to go. It's
I mean, the
Yeah,
funny
it's
thing
tough.
is Russia has always supported African
Cape Verde,
African
Cuba.
revolutions.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
But interestingly enough, they've never colonized anybody.
Yep.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Aquilo como te falei, there's a difference between being in partnership with the people who colonized you and exploited you for hundreds of years and making a choice to be in partnership with another country.
Yep. There's a huge
So
difference.
it's a different dynamic. And one thing that I support, that I've always supported, is Africa becoming independent, becoming self-sufficient, taking, you know, control of all of our resources, including our people. And Traore and other like young leaders seem to be heading towards that direction, which is exciting. But one thing that I'll say, I think it's important for, in the same way that people are paying attention to the movement right now, I think it's important for people to continue paying attention
Yeah.
and to support the ideology behind it and not the individual or not the party. Because even in Cape Verde, but as Africans in general, we tend to put a lot of the responsibility and a lot of the power on individuals and on parties instead of centering that around the communities. So we have to create, whether it's a democracy, whether it's a benevolent dictatorship, whatever they want to call what Traore has right now, we have to create the structures around it to ensure accountability, to ensure transparency, and to avoid somebody becoming too powerful where all of a sudden it can start like hurting its people.
Yeah.
The people need to learn to be involved and demand for the changes that we want to see. In the situation of Burkina Faso and Senegal and Mali, the people have to learn to be involved and not delegate all
the
the
same
power,
everywhere, man. Yeah.
because you're seeing like it's beautiful what he's doing. I'm really excited, but then you see comments that, you know, idolizing him and like praising him as like he's our savior, he's, you know, he's our king, and it's like he's an individual doing what appears to be great work right now, but the people should be the ones in charge. The people should always be the one making sure that we're like I said, creating the structures to ensure that he's doing what is best for the people.
But that's biggest struggle of politics, right? Because we always actually have the power as a people, but
Do we?
We're supposed to have it, right? It's
Yeah.
the same thing as here.
Theoretically, yeah.
Let's keep it here in
Practically, we
Brockton.
don't,
Like,
yeah.
you know, we talk about school districts and we talk about all these things. There are meetings where you can go. There are everything that you can get involved in. But
how many of us
it's-
go? How
we
many
don't.
of us do those
We
things?
don't.
Well, I
but
mean,
yeah,
I think- but
that's
I-
what I'm saying. That's the biggest struggle of
but I
dealing
think
with politics.
I think the other question is this idea of settling on Western style democracy
Yep.
in those regions,
Yep.
right? And that's why Traore himself said, "We're not in a democracy; we're in a revolution." Democracy is what usually comes after, supposedly
modern
comes after.
modern day revolution.
Yeah,
Sure.
but even still, it's a fair question to ask whether Western style democracy can work for us Africans, because African nations have been quote unquote democratic for a very long time. Where has that gotten us?
Yeah.
So, and we haven't gotten to the place that we should be because maybe Western style democracy is a way to have puppets out there,
It is.
right? Doing the work of the puppet masters.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting to see what Traore does as far as settling. After all it's been said and done, what are they going to do? Are they going to settle in some forms like an Africanized democracy, or are they going to go right back to this side of the world and how we do things?
If this happens, guys, this is gonna. I'm gonna bleep this out. Fuck up the world really bad because
Yeah.
like
It is.
It's gonna turn
like
it upside down.
what is gonna happen to like these Western countries and America and all these other big countries, they're fighting this stuff for a reason because they know
course.
that
I mean, there was, every year there's an armed services committee, and they bring the top commanders, to talk about their priorities. And lo and behold, one of the commanders, the commander of the AFRICOM, the Africa Command, whatever division, called out Traore because, like you said, they're starting to build that narrative of him being a bad guy. Like they're accusing him of using their gold reserves
Demonized,
for their
of
own
course.
selfish. So going back to what you were saying, this is where, and I'm happy to see all of this movement that's happening in Africa, that they're like, no, you're actually trying to demonize our leader.
yeah.
This is not something
This
that we've
is
seen
not-
before.
yeah.
In Libya, it was just tragic.
Yeah.
And they see the results. It's working for them.
Yeah, I mean,
What happened in Libya was crazy.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, there's slavery in Libya right now as we're speaking,
That's crazy.
like straight up slavery.
That's nuts. You also mentioned this last time that we spoke. You were talking about, I guess, the countries coming into Cape Verde and owning properties of ocean where basically our fishing produce is now in their hands.
Yes.
And we have to buy it back from them. That's a very crazy start.
It's not available, and when it is, it's very expensive.
Yeah.
Like that is actually, in
Yeah.
some instances, it's actually cheaper to buy frozen cod from Portugal than it is to buy atum.
Yeah, that's crazy. Are there more examples like that in Cape Verde right now? Or is this the start of
Well,
many?
I mean, what do we import the majority of our food right now?
Imported?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Instead
have to
of
buy it
But
from
but
other
same
countries.
goes for a number of African countries. You know,
We
not-
import banana from freaking Sojo, Madeira, one of them. Banana.
What do you mean? The bananas were crazy back in the days. When I
back
used
in
to
the days,
go.
we still
Well, the
can,
little
but
ones
it's just
is-
that we're not
Ah.
investing
Now
on,
we have to import
on
banana.
land.
That's
Yeah.
nuts.
well, I mean, look at Nigeria for the longest time. Nigeria has big reservoirs of oil, but for the longest time they had to keep exporting their oil, crude oil, to get refined and then bought back.
Buy it back, and then super expensive.
Wow.
Yes.
that's crazy.
Super
And
expensive.
this is what's been happening in Africa for the longest time.
Yeah.
And Traore actually just nationalized gold mines,
Yeah.
took it from the hands of like the French or
I
whatever,
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Kicked them out.
and they just built their first gold refinery, I think.
No.
So, and with that, they're going to be able to do many other things. They're going to be able to come up with their own currency backed by gold.
Exactly.
The thing that's interesting is that, Cape Verde is part of the ECOWAS, and
ECOWAS. Say that again.
ECOWAS. So it's the economic something. So
What is it?
yeah,
Thank you.
economic community of West African states.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso, they have left.
They left.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it seems that, the thing about these alliances like the ECOWAS or whatever, it seems to be a way some people say that it's one of those things that are used by the French and people outside of Africa to have to exert influence in local
Monteiro, yeah.
politics and everything.
So our, politicians, our president, why aren't they as fearless as what we're seeing here?
I don't know. I think we cozy up to Europe a lot.
So
We're also a
that's how I
small
see it.
nation, I guess, and I think that
you also have to look at what we know is the formation of Cape Verde as a people and as a country.
Yeah.
Like I made a video about this that became very controversial, where I talked about the fact that the other African nations that were colonized, they were, before they became colonized and became nations, because the borders were created by, the colonizers, they were already like set tribes with their own cultures, their own languages, their own, ways of being. And supposedly what happened in Cape Verde is that like the colonizers brought in the African people. So from its very inception, Cape Verde became a mix of the colonizers on top and then the African people at the bottom.
Yeah.
So that's part of our
Messed up the identity a bit.
identity in a way that we can't necessarily escape. It's a brutal and terrific like
Mixed, yeah.
origin story, but it is who we are.
Yeah, but I mean, out of that hierarchy came us,
Exactly.
the mixed people. But we are an African nation. We belong to the
100%.
continent of Africa.
But do we
100%,
need like a president or politicians with a little bit more?
I mean, my personal opinion, I think that Cape Verde definitely needs to get a little closer to Africa.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
In general, because we do it in sports, but we need it across the board.
That is so
Think
that is
about
so
it. How
true.
many
Yeah.
of us actually choose to go to Africa? The moment we get a chance to go on vacation, we're not going to Africa. We're going to Europe. We're coming to the U.S.
Yep.
How many of us, you're speaking even
For me,
the
it's
people
black and
like,
white because of the prices are crazy. Like Cape Verde, for instance, is crazy to get
No,
there.
but I'm talking about Cape Verdean people living in Cape Verde.
Oh, to go to Africa?
To go to Africa. Naturally, as a people, because of what we talked about, because of the inception story that we have, because of the product that we became. And what you mentioned about like us getting closer to Africa, like historically we haven't done that.
But you mean going on vacation or living or
Going
migrating?
to Africa, like I always tell people, the black diaspora living here in the US, I tell them, go to the motherland.
Yeah.
Here we have, no tem mais possibilidade de viajar. So a lot of them are going to Asia. They're going to Europe. They're going to South America.
Yeah, but you know why?
I know.
Yeah, I mean,
why, but what I'm saying is like
the thing is, but even from economic standpoint, we can say, okay, it's too expensive, but when there's demand, people find ways to make the business work.
I don't think just demand, guys. I think the first thing that you mentioned about your platform, marketing of Africa has been really bad. Like when people think about Africa, I'm telling you, when I speak to people and they think about Africa, it's a safety issues.
Yeah.
It's expensive. They don't know what to do or where to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what you're gonna what you're gonna get when you go to Cancun. You know what you're gonna get when you go to Dominican Republic, even though you don't really go to those countries, but you go to the resorts.
I understand.
And that's what I think is the biggest thing. And
I
then
understand all of that.
even Cape Verde, not to cut you off, but even Cape Verde, I was in Holland studying tourism when Cape Verde became like a go-to place for Dutch people to go to. Like I'm talking about the Brancos, the Dutch people to go to. Yeah, because they wouldn't know. And as soon as they started selling Cape Verde, and as soon as they started marketing it correctly and saying that it's like it's the safe. No, I don't know if it's the safest, but it's a very, very safe nation in Africa. It starts picking up. All of a sudden, you guys saw that. You guys saw how many Dutch people went over there, and that's what I mean. I think that a lot of the world, especially here in America and in the rest of the world, they just think that Africa is not a place where you can go and enjoy yourself, and there's just too much unknown, or the stuff that is known is not, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, part of
correctly.
it is every time you hear news about Africa, what do we see?
violence.
It's
Poverty,
like
instability, all of this crap.
Always.
But I don't know, man. Like I've seen images of Angola, beautiful sceneries. I've seen Ghana,
You know
Botswana.
something, Príncipe? The
Huh?
beaches.
I'll
in
tell you.
there?
I'll
Yeah.
tell you. I'll tell you
Amazing.
one. Even I used to go to these tourism. What do you call these events? What do you call those things? Conventions. Middle Eastern countries, beautiful places. And they were trying to sell it and trying to show what they have over there and the different countries. And it's a hard sell because why? Every time you see them on TV, it's war. Every time you see it's.
But
I think that is
exactly.
that's the problem with people going over there.
The media is an American invention,
Yeah,
right? So of course they're always gonna have
their biggest
power
weapon.
or actually it's like an invention from Western countries, I guess we can put it that way. So they know how to use it.
It's their biggest
But
weapon.
I wasn't even talking about like going back to Africa as a tourist.
You're talking about
I'm talking about
Migrating.
like understanding where your roots are from. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like ancestry.
How-
yeah,
But
how
you're
many-
talking from people from Cape Verde.
I'm talking about the Black diaspora, people who
Okay.
have never stepped foot in the motherland.
yeah,
African like focused people who speak about Black liberation and African liberation who have never stepped foot
In there.
in the continent.
Yeah,
that's
They
true.
don't understand
Yeah.
everything that is happening over there. They don't understand how we lived as people before colonization. They read it in books. They watch it, like videos.
They don't know
But
anything
until you
about it.
go there, you don't really understand what it's like.
Yeah,
true.
look, I took a trip to Kenya and Tanzania.
Oh,
few years
that
back.
sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those trips that it's not a coincidence that it's in everybody's bucket list. And I went there, and I spent 4 days with the Maasai tribe in their village.
Oh wow. How
You know,
was that?
That is
Gotta
amazing.
change
It was
you.
awesome, dude.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was awesome. Like we would go on nature walks, and they would tell you things like, when someone has fever, we come to this tree and we take this. And blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah.
Wow, survival
Back
skills.
home, I take NyQuil and Tylenol, all this crap.
Yeah, I just had that debate with some of my uncles about, do you guys still, when your kids get sick, do you give them like
Natural,
natural? And they were like, yeah, nah.
Sure.
When my kids
Sabala.
get sick, I do the natural stuff. I don't
Yeah.
do any of the.
Yeah.
And that also been.
That's
There's
culture.
also been
That's
dirt
our-
thrown on that.
Yes.
Because medication, that's like the bush doctors or whatever. Like it's
Yeah.
what America
But
did to Africans are known as smelly,
Yeah.
big accents, all that stuff. That's why that's how they always that's
Portray
how you
us.
always see them
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
portrayed.
yeah.
And I'm telling you, that's why people are so standoffish of it.
I mean, even African religions have been demonized over time.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't even know
like
them that
voodoo,
well.
for example. You say voodoo, it's like, oh, that demon stuff.
Yeah.
No, but voodoo was like an actual, like a religion.
Yep.
The world is all over
Not
the
just something that
The
you're
world is
gonna do to
organized and all
worship
over
the
the place.
devil or something.
No, but
You know?
I'm seeing a movement. Even the Western world is turning an eye to Africa. Like you have the Western medicine now turning an eye to like herbal medicines that are very known in African tribes,
Yeah.
and they're realizing that all of these things that they invented in the name of development is not where it's at, because it's actually causing a lot of problems.
Well,
health
big
problems
pharma.
and
Yeah,
You know how
we know that.
Yeah.
the evil that comes out of
We're
that.
seeing,
That's even the
a
worst one.
turn in the world of people.
Yeah.
trying
No,
to
don't
go
get me
back to-
wrong. I'm more following in entertainment than in politics. Like when I look at somebody like Akon and what he has done going over there, I hear there's so many possibilities of investments in
Yeah.
Africa. It's ridiculous.
I think Africa is it's the most promising market across the board.
Yeah.
Because look, just look at the fact that we don't have a very large population of people online yet. So as that grow, all of this represents opportunity for growth in business and,
Yeah.
and prosperity.
I'm all for people going there and investing as long as they don't try to impose the Western
Yeah.
version of investing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to go there. You have to be respectful
Yeah.
of people's lands,
Always
respectful
respectful.
Totally.
of people's culture, and that has to be a part of your investment plan.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, it's just going to be a different face but the same problems.
Yeah, don't just do it for money, for sure not.
Yeah.
It has to be. It has to have both.
Africa has the capacity to become the next biggest superpower. That doesn't make sense. The next superpower in the world. We have the natural resources. We have the human resources. We're the only continent where the population is not becoming older and older.
Yeah.
Like we have the biggest number of young people. So
But guys, to be fair, it's up to Africans to do this.
100%.
Americans don't.
not just Africans.
Americans
it's
don't know.
up to the Black diaspora in the whole world.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
when you talk about Africa, you're also including African Americans, you're including Caribbean people,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like all of those people
Yeah, right.
are a part of us.
Yeah.
So
No.
I think it's going to take all of us coming
I'm pretty
together
sure
to
if
be
you
happy.
if you talk to the average African American or that lives here and you start naming the nations and naming this nation, for instance, like they don't even
not
know
gonna-
about it.
yeah.
And so of course they're not gonna really, care about it as much. So I feel that,
Yeah, I mean,
it's definitely
it's
something
like,
that has to come from us.
but at the same time, it's like they're Americans.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can really hold them to account.
No,
in
no,
this
that's not
stuff,
it. I'm
but-
not saying that
No.
they should be accountable. I'm just saying, this is starting and it's becoming a trend and everybody's talking about
So,
it. But
yeah,
how much
there-
do they really care
There,
about
there
this?
used to be a
How much they're
time.
gonna really
There
care
used to
about
be
it.
a time, for example, during the movements for African liberation, where the civil rights movement, the leaders here, they were very tightly connected with leaders in Cape Verde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in Africa,
Yeah.
Cape Verde, yeah,
Yeah.
Amilcar Cabral in all of
All
them.
that.
Because I actually just saw somebody speak on it today, where they talk about how the Black diaspora outside of Africa, their money is a commodity, their bodies are a commodity, but if they go back to Africa, then their land is also a commodity. Their natural resources also become a commodity. So you become like more powerful.
Another thing that I'm seeing out of this is not just economic sovereignty, but I also see cultural autonomy.
Yes.
Okay, this is
Language
why
being one of them.
not to keep pressing that same key on language. What did Traore do? He made local languages official.
Good
You know,
for
to this day, it blows my mind how we still say things like Portuguese speaking, English speaking, French speaking African countries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2025, we're still identifying
Yeah.
Yeah.
these countries in the image of our former
And it's not even
colonizers.
close to getting
And it's
to
and
going
it's
away.
and look, look at how every time there's a major conference to determine what should happen next in Africa, these are conversations being held at tables in European conferences,
European conferences, yeah.
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 and it's rooted in language. It's a really good way for us to perpetuate the legacies of colonialism.
Yes.
Okay, there was a time in Cape Verde. Not many people know this, but up until like the mid 1800s, Kriol was the language of local elites.
Oh, well.
Okay, when the Portuguese came in with their families,
Yeah.
they learned Kriol. Otherwise, they would be ostracized by society.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
See, that's crazy.
The problem, though, is that language is very powerful, right? It fostered an environment of shared identity, and with it came revolts, revolutions, insurgencies. So in the mid 1800s forward, what we started seeing is the rise of this thing called colonial statehood. And the Portuguese followed suit. They installed public schools, religious missionaries,
Religious, yeah.
all to establish the supremacy of the Portuguese language.
And now we
Not to
became
let it die,
what
yeah.
they were, basically.
Yeah, and here we are again, like I said, generation to generation, we're still carrying out a legacy that was designed precisely to reduce, if not eliminate, who we
Yeah.
are.
The
Yes.
freaking Portuguese were so good at severing our roots to the motherland.
Starting with names.
They
Yeah.
started with the names, then the language, and then the culture.
Funny
They
enough,
know.
this is the biggest beef that I have with Cape Verdean people. We don't give our kids African names.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. None of my kids.
João, Joaninha, Flávia, tem tudo.
Agora é nome
James,
inglês.
até
I'm
James
guilty.
tem.
Yeah.
Nos último nome é português. Nos primeiro nome, a maioria é português.
Lorreta.
Lorreta é diferente.
Ah, Thomas.
Lorreta, por acaso, vem de lá de Senegal.
Oh, wow, really? Interesting.
Nice to
There you
know.
go.
What about Edmar?
Sei lá.
Português.
Edmar é
Português.
português.
Edmar?
Keila agora. No, Keila's.
Não, português.
Yo, it's crazy. Adírio.
Adírio.
Epa,
Sou português.
Adírio Siniclau. O Toya, sim. Sim.
que nome inventado.
Ele inventou. Não, minha pai. Minha pai agora era um. Ele tem minha irmã se nome é Agripino.
Maneiro?
Cusé.
Agripino.
Não, aquele é primeiro nome e último nome, né?
Não, não.
Que ele é um nome?
Ele tem... Ele é very lucky. que agora ele vai viver na Itália. So, Agrippino. Yeah, so now that was sexy, but I'm telling you, Agrippino.
That works.
Agrippino, yeah.
No,
All right, guys. I think we unpacked that. I really hope that that this revolution doesn't end up the same way that it always ends
Yeah,
up.
I
I don't
hopefully
think it
the
will.
other
This feels
It won't if
this
the
feels
people keep
different.
paying attention.
Yeah.
If the people keep paying attention,
awareness.
it won't.
Awareness, yeah.
They're coming. The distraction is coming.
Yeah.
For sure.
Something's gonna happen. And Kanye is
Pay
not gonna do it.
attention, yo.
So distraction is coming. I'm telling you, for reals. All right, guys. Let's go to our final topic. Let's go, Lottie.
You go for it because
So, so the NBA and the FIBA, in partnership, created the first outside of the U.S. Basketball league for clubs in Africa called BAL, Basketball African League.
Hey,
Oh, nice.
good name.
And
That worked out.
right? It's perfect. The ball. So this year is their 5th season,
Okay.
and it's the first season that we have a team from Cape Verde in there called Kriolstar.
Nice.
Yes.
Hey.
And they have just recently qualified after a crazy run. They have just recently qualified for the playoffs that will be happening in
Wow.
Pretoria, South Africa in June.
nice.
So that's really, really exciting. It was founded by Joel Almeida.
Almeida. Yes.
Yeah. I spoke to him on the phone today, just trying to understand like what the journey looked like for them, and
Amazing.
as always, really crazy. They received the wild card and had less than a week to
To accept it.
to get all the players ready, to get all the visas, buy all the plane tickets. And
He's the coach?
I'm sorry, how long?
They had like 7 days, less than 7 days.
Wow, that's
Man,
crazy.
Yeah.
What does he do exactly? Sorry.
So he's one of the players and he's the founder.
And the founder of
Yes.
it. Okay.
He also founded the
Of Kriolstar.
of Kriolstar.
Okay.
He also founded what's called CBL, Cape Verdean Basketball League,
Okay.
in Praia.
Nice.
So they did a few runs of
That's a
like,
lot of his hands.
of like professional clubs competing in Praia, and then out of that league came Kriolstar.
Nice.
So they just competed and did an amazing run. They played in Dakar recently, like in the past week, and they were able to qualify for the playoffs.
I saw that.
And out of that came the news that they're now starting Kriolstar,
Mm.
which is going to be the female
Sensational.
version of that.
Because the ball league has a female version as well.
They have a female.
Hey,
version.
let's get him.
Awesome.
So
Let's get him. Let's show them.
So do these games get streamed anywhere?
Yes.
They do?
yeah,
Mhm.
on YouTube.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
great.
On
For
YouTube,
sure.
yeah.
It's good to know.
Sure.
It was.
It would be the
if you guys-
Kriolstar?
Yeah, the Kriolstar. They
account?
They played. Yeah, if you guys can go back and check the highlights, like crazy.
I saw it.
Game.
I
Like,
saw
they're-
it. Those guys are
they
not
killed
playing.
it.
They're really good.
Yeah.
They're really, really
and
good.
I'm really excited about Kriolstar because the women always gets forgotten. For those who don't know, I played with the national team for 10 years.
I was just gonna ask, are you sure you don't want to like get in shape real quick and
Get back
get
to
back
it.
in
I
it?
may or may not. Be
Hey,
Nah, you
look
need
it.
to.
There you go.
If not, maybe on a staff or something, because I don't know. These knees are not.
What you talking about?
You have to play me.
behaving.
You have to play me first. All right. I'm in line. I've been standing
Yo,
in
yo,
line
that's
for
your
years.
test.
This
That's
is
your
a
test.
thing that we can.
Yo, you
just
don't know.
talk
I've been
about
knocking
later.
on the door, and every time I see her, she's like with somebody playing. Oh, I'm just balling, and then I can't say nothing, and then she's playing, and she's
Adirio Almeida,
and
I
I'm like,
cannot
oh, I
have
can't
this
say.
conversation with you
Yeah,
anymore.
exactly.
I am tired of this conversation.
Stop dodging.
Okay.
Stop dodging.
I never dodged you.
Stop
I don't
dodging
dodge
me.
nobody.
Hey,
It's been a year trying.
Nah,
make
we've
this
been,
work.
we've been doing this
I
for
mean,
a while. We've been doing
For
this for a while.
me, it's
No,
I've
but
been
shout
hearing
out
this.
to Kriolstar. I love this. I love this especially for because I remember going to Sal and seeing the basketball, like just the basketball community, if you want to call that there, and watching the kids with crazy skills,
Yeah.
and crazy athleticism, and not really having an out. You know what I mean? And this kind of gives you an out. This kind of shines light to it, makes a spotlight also for the rest of the
Creates a
world,
pad.
Yeah.
for Europe, and even let's say for America. You know,
Yeah.
so that we can we need more Eddies in the world.
Yeah,
And we
one,
need
one
more
thing that we can
more
produce
examples from that.
is good athletes.
Yeah,
Good athletes.
for sure.
The
That's what
amount
I'm
of
talking
amazing
about.
athletes per capita that we have in Cape Verde is
Per
out.
capita.
No,
for real.
it's,
It's
it,
out
no,
of
that
this
that is a
world.
It's
very
crazy.
important thing to call out. When you
Yeah.
adjust it for
Out of-
population,
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
out of this world.
talent might just be our biggest export.
Yeah, yeah.
In
Yeah, you
sports
said
and
it
music.
before, yeah.
True.
Yeah.
True. I know it wasn't just in Sal, but everywhere where you go, especially when you go in the summertime, go to Cape Verde, you're there, you're chilling, and at night, all of a sudden, the big lights go on some
Yeah,
field,
that's
and
why they-
everybody goes there, and
And it's
basically,
beautiful because it's like boys and girls.
and girls, yeah, everybody plays there. I love it, man. I love
That's
it. So
why
shout
they
out to
building
Kriola
more fields.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
of
yeah.
that.
They were featured on an article on ESPN and on Forbes.
Hey,
So-
see that?
Forbes too?
Yeah.
Speaking of
Amazing.
visibility, shining
So
lights.
that's-
Thomas, marketing.
That's awesome.
huge.
Marketing.
That's huge.
All I know is I need that jersey. I already told you. Get it.
I told you. I'm
I
having
need to be
conversations
rocking
with
that
them.
this
Ja-
summer, black and white.
Já
This is two
agora,
brothers
já
you said,
agora
right?
damos expediente.
Boys.
You know?
Ai, ai.
That jersey is nice,
Since
though.
they
yo.
qualified, they're gonna have to wear them in June. But after that, Althea told me she will try to make it happen.
you
So
go.
you have two options
There
because
you
you have
go.
two Almeidas on the team. Two
No, I want the black and the white one, so,
Damn, I'm not.
Both?
I know.
Yeah. It's two Almeida, two brothers that Almeida. My last name is Almeida, so I get the white one.
Oh,
and the
there you
black
go.
one and two
I
brothers.
see. I get it now.
It's
I see what's
destiny.
going
It's
on.
Black and white.
Destiny.
Be happy if you get one. That's all. I'm saying.
Nah. It does. I got money for them. Don't worry about it. I'll support. Nah, for sure. Shout out to them and Joel Almeida.
Joel Almeida.
Shout out to
and
him as
Ivan
well.
Almeida are the founders, and then Althea, Joel's wife.
Mm-hmm.
She's the president. She's the president of Kriolstar. She's
Kriolstar.
also, I think, media person for Kriolstar.
Kudos
Can't
to
wait.
them.
Can't
so
wait.
she's doing amazing work trying to push.
Can't wait.
basketball.
Especially,
Maybe,
especially
hey,
on the
Hey,
women's side.
maybe
yeah.
one day Praçazul and Kriolish will be official sponsors of the team.
Hey,
Hey,
look
call
it.
it
Put it
out.
out
Call
there.
it out.
Put it out there.
As they
I'm
say,
all
just
for our
manifesting
people
here. That's
backing
all I'm
up.
Yeah,
doing.
and the opening would be them two.
I know, right? One-on-one.
A
Roll it
quick
out.
one-on-one.
Yeah,
You
right.
don't want to.
Get everybody
don't
warmed up.
Yo, I really don't want to smoke with Lorreta. Right? She's
I'll have two cheerleaders.
there's
I'll have this-
there's no, like it's just family fun. But the only thing is she talks she talks smack. And her eyes talk smack. And then she thinks that she's the best one in the family. No, continue.
Wait, you say that though.
I know I say that. I put that out
Thank
there.
you.
I put that out there. Yeah, guys, we're kind of at the end of this. I do, as a fan, want to ask Antwan Studios.
Oh yeah.
How is that going, man? Where are we at? What's the projects like? Is there gonna be an Antwan Studio showing up on my Netflix one of these days?
Hey, man.
working on just
We're working on it.
Yeah?
We're working on it. We have a number of premieres coming up this summer. We got admitted into a number of festivals,
Nice.
film festivals. So
congratulations.
thank you. Compliments to the team. I haven't been around the studio lately, but
Yeah.
I do my part
You do
in
your
spreading
part
the
for
word.
sure.
But
Shout out to Goy for sure. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, we got into that thing with Jalen Brown.
The grant. Yeah, we saw that. We
Grant.
talked about it. Yeah,
that
for
was
sure.
dope.
Yeah.
It was dope. Putting that money to work.
That's
If
awesome.
you come to the
Not
studio,
bad. We
see.
expect some results very soon.
Yeah, no. If you come to the studio, you'll see some really great experiments being run
Yeah.
with like virtual reality stuff. Like we're getting into some fancy stuff.
Nice.
Okay. You're focusing on film or TV shows or both? Skits?
Film is what
From
we
films.
make. Commercials too.
Commercials as well.
Commercials pay the bills.
Yo, I have. By the way, I have this good idea for Vicente commercial.
All right, let's talk after this.
Be dope as hell. Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to the Loyals Band and T-Day Sessions and Vargas Monteiro and Juscelia Cardoso for their performances at the Sao Filipe Festival in Fogo.
When was this?
Last week. Last week.
Oh man, I have
Yeah.
to make it. Have you ever been?
I've never been to Fogo.
I hear
no.
all sorts of crazy.
I've been as a kid, but it's just like I wasn't going to the
Praçazul trip
party.
next
Just
year?
the
I know, right?
Great.
Should do that. They should do
I
that.
hear about it all the time.
It's fun.
Yeah. Let's
gotta
do
go.
it. Let's do it. Feedback was great. Experience was great, and hopefully they stay consistent. Because
They had a lot
putting
of
American Cape Verdean artists need to be put a little bit more on the map over there and
Yeah.
in the rest of the world. And hopefully with this they shine light to it. The Loyals Band is a band that a lot of artists want to work with. Grace, for instance, they went to Mozambique with Grace, and they did shows there as well. There's just different artists of the part of the world is asking for them. And to be very honest, the bands out here have always been on a high level, for sure. But now these guys are, they've gone together and they play together a lot. And shout out to them. And it sounded awesome. Vargas did a great job. Jusela did a great job.
Shout out to Wifey.
Yeah, and
They probably had a good time.
huh?
They had a great time.
Oh, it was fun watching it with the kids. See, mommy doesn't just do dishes. Like,
I was like, Millie, you need any help? And it was like, oh, Gisele's about to come. Like, oh my.
She waited till the last day. It was like, you need any help with babysitting? I was like, yeah, get out of here, yo. This is a super show.
No, I thought that she was staying more days.
Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, that's true. She went
Actually,
really
I
quick.
wasn't here.
It was
Remember?
It's always interesting when
4 or
the
5
man
days.
is left with the kids. Everybody's like, do you need any help?
I know, right?
But then when a woman is with the kids, it's like, okay.
Yeah.
You got it.
No, because like
No, not with
He's
me.
a very capable father.
Not with me.
Okay?
no, the
I know I don't
babysitting
look
is just
it,
a
but believe me,
babysitter.
I'm a
I know
beast.
it. I know it.
I'm a
No,
beast.
I know you were a beast. I know.
know it.
No, actually, I know you were a
He's
beast.
very capable, as every father should be.
No, for sure,
Yep.
for sure.
That's right.
But you're not gonna put me in that conversation, okay?
Y'all need to speak up more.
For sure.
They don't listen to us.
But
They
the thing
listen
is
to you.
also, I don't around me, I don't see that too much.
You need to talk to the women. They'll tell you.
Wait, you don't see what?
I don't
Men
see
being
like men
confident.
like being that, I'm sitting on the couch and wifey is doing the laundry and the dishes after she just worked the 40-hour shift and
Oh,
all
I
that
see.
shit.
I
I don't
see.
see that around me like that. I
That's
don't.
good, but you need to talk to the
That's
women.
good. You have that environment.
Do you
I
think that
see
it
it,
still
though.
exists with like our age group, 30s, 40s? Or are we talking about our parents?
Yeah, 30s, 40s, 50s,
It's still-
60s.
Of
It
what?
goes-
Guys sitting around not doing anything?
Guys
Yeah,
trying to
yeah.
play that,
Basically
like,
having that, that
dynamic
this is
of,
your
like, I
job and
only
this is
work
your
outside
job
of
or
the
whatever.
house.
For sure. Yes.
Yeah?
Pô, brother, eu tive na Cape
Yeah,
Verde.
boy. Yeah, boy. Yeah.
Okay, in Cape Verde, I think it's still far away. But
No,
over
leave 'em
here,
in-
when I look around in
leave 'em
my
in.
friend group, yeah, of course. Like, I think at the end of the day, there's like, for instance, my wife. Yeah, I won't speak about anybody else. Like, she takes pride into being a mom and being let's say, the general manager of the house, right?
Yeah.
As far as things being clean. Like, she came back from vacation and she was like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, you did a good job. Now let me do my job. And everything got, everything got. And I'm like the assistant, the great assistant. But to say that that's her responsibility and I don't have it, like
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
really seen that too much around me. But
Yeah.
I guess that
It
still
exists.
happens.
It exists.
Yeah,
A
more
lot.
than the opposite, I guess. That's what you're trying to say.
Well, I feel like it's getting better.
It's getting better.
Yeah, but I go into my point. I do think that more competent men need to speak up.
I think
Talk about your experience staying for a week with your 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's
like talk
nothing.
about how it's the most normal thing for you to allow, for your wife to be able to go and do her thing and for you to stay home with your 3 kids.
that's nothing. Yeah.
I mean, isn't stay-at-home dads becoming very popular these
yeah,
days?
for sure. No,
Since
for sure.
COVID time.
That's
So
right.
it was like, ó, tô te sentando na casa.
Yeah.
I kind of miss it.
It depends on your
Lay
situation,
back.
yeah. It depends on the situation. I don't think that we should black and white it, but I don't think that it should be shamed on both sides. You know what I mean?
No.
Definitely not. There was a time that women got shamed for, there was a time that I've spoken to a few women that they said, yo, I really enjoy being a housewife, but right now it's not really a popular thing to do, and people are shaming me for that. And I'm like, yo, if you really want to be that type, if that's what you want, then find you a partner that supports that. Like, people
Yeah,
are always
but that-
getting into with people that, like, if you're a woman and you aspire to be a boss or a business, or you want a career for yourself, then find you somebody that supports that. Don't find you one of these traditional guys and then say, oh, see, men ain't shit. No, he is who he is.
Exactly.
He wants that, and maybe there's a woman out there that wants to be a housewife, that takes pride into taking care of her kids and doesn't necessarily want a career, and that matches with him. And then, but don't get like, that's the problem. People pick out messed up partners and then they could come complain.
You could be a really good counseling for couples.
No. Because impatience me. I
What
say,
you saying?
I wanted to see
you
his
know
reaction.
better. I say break up right away. Like, yo, cut that shit off. You crazy? If you're not happy, don't stay there. I mean, continue patience because.
But he cuts the problems though. It's just like you're not for him and you're not for him.
Yeah,
That's what
make
he said,
that
like,
make that
break up.
quick. Elida Almeida and her Tiny Desk performance.
Yeah.
that was awesome.
amazing.
What a show.
It was a huge surprise. I was not. It just came out of.
She
I was
wanted
not-
to be
I
a
loved
surprise.
it.
You can tell.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah.
What a confidence. Great
Yeah.
voice. I love the fact that she has like this thickest accent and was just speaking English like y'all understand me, right?
Yeah.
Like no shame,
She
you know,
was
mates
so
like I'm used to
fun.
like Cape Verdeans like the falalungzinha scene
Yeah,
kalot
yeah.
because I don't know how to speak it. She was just giving it to them and raw and with
They were
sauce.
laughing.
Raw
Not
and
even
cut.
sauce, caldo. That was super dope.
That
yo.
was a
I
good one,
loved
Millie.
it. I
think
really
it was a
loved it.
beautiful representation of Cape Verdean
Yeah.
sassiness.
Yeah,
It's like-
everything, just confident, shiny.
Confidence, yeah.
Yeah. Like this is
the
who I am.
hair, yo, the outfit.
Oh yeah, the dress that was
outfit,
amazing.
Yo, that was dope. That
That
was
was
dope.
very,
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 very
classy.
dope.
and
The only,
Shout out,
only slight I have is the guys in the back. They was just the band was like, no, we're not trying to mess up. 'Cause I watch Tiny Desk all the time, and usually they give like the sauce and they're
Yeah.
jamming
Wait,
to
wait a
it.
minute. There was a time that one of the guys really like.
Yeah, he
got
did the
to it.
guitar up and down. That's it, and then
No,
he
no,
went
no.
back to.
They were laughing also.
Yeah?
Whenever she was like cracking.
Yeah,
some
no,
jokes.
I was.
It was fun.
I was
Yeah,
very
she
proud
has
watching that.
she has charisma.
Yeah,
I
she
really like the
does.
riz.
Yeah, no, wearing that accent like a badge of honor. I loved it. I just loved it. I really loved it. She was so confident and so. It's a great representation of our country for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
So shout out to Elida,
Almeida.
awesome,
Bodona.
awesome artist. I love it. I love it. But yes, guys, we have come to the end
We did it.
of a great
That
episode.
was a good one.
Edmar, man, thanks so much for stopping by today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
This can happen anytime you
Yeah.
want, bro. Anytime you're here.
Yo,
Your
I told you I
neighbor
live
is-
across the street. Just
You
knock
know,
on my door,
I'll
yo.
put the mic here. You can just come and knock and just
Be like,
and
yo,
just
our
sit down.
guest just fell through. Just come through and fill in.
For sure, for sure.
Fill
I
in.
know,
Oh,
right?
you're not
Or
about
we'd
to
be like,
just
yo, Kayla's
fill in.
running late. Yo, come.
Speaking of running
That
late,
happens. That happens.
they asked me to call you out because you arrived after your guest.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. He said it, and I
Not
said, yeah.
cool.
Tell her. Tell her. That's all you have?
Not cool.
Thank you so much for coming, bro.
Thanks
Really
for having me,
appreciate
man.
it.
Anytime.
Really appreciate having you here.
Thank you, Edmar.
Ladies,
you.
thank you so much for showing up on time today.
Oh, thank
Loved
you.
it.
I did it.
We always show up on time.
Thank you so much for watching us. If you are not a subscriber yet, please follow us on Instagram,
Yes,
follow us
subscribe.
on YouTube,
YouTube.
follow us on Facebook. We're all over the place. And
TikTok.
tell your loved ones about us as well. Oh, yeah, TikTok as
Instagram.
well.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody, for watching us. And we'll see you guys on the next episode of Praçazul.
Bye.
Deuces.
Bye.
Peace.